appreciate you hearing that. Second thing is, I know this is an emotional issue. It was an issue that was raised to me when I was interviewed for this position, coming in from out of state. It made both rounds of interviews. I know that this is a very emotional issue. Anytime you're talking about reducing a school that's been in a community for many years, a community that serves a population that's central to the school, I know that's an emotional issue. With that being said, we can only work on an issue if we remain professional and focused on the issue. If it gets personal and unprofessional and unsafe, we will call the meeting. I don't think it's going to go there. I don't see any reason why it needs to go there, but if it goes there, we will end the meeting and we'll have to come up with another location and another venue to have the discussion. I don't think it's going to go there though. I think we can have a professional dialogue and we can go on down the road and do what we need to do. Does everybody agree to those kind of ground rules for the meeting? I'm here to listen. I'm here to take input, and I want to lead off the meeting with covering what led to this point, because that may address a lot of the questions that may help the meeting be a little more efficient and well ran if we start with that first.
I just got one thing to say.
Sure.
It's personal to anybody that's in this room. I'm sorry, they can't change that feeling. Everybody agree? It's personal.
I'm not asking any feelings to be changed, and
I'm just saying, you said not to get it personal, but it is personal to each and every one of us.
That's a good point. I'm not asking for any feelings to be changed. I'm asking that whatever the actions are and whatever words are used, we use those professionally.
Exactly. I agree with that, but I just wanted to put that out there. But it is very personal to each and every one of us here.
I understand.
We're all very passionate about our school and our community.
And you should be. Driving force behind the discussion, before I go there, I'm sorry, I meant to back up. We have two commissioners, Danny Alvis in the back, thank you for being here. We have Mike Correll and his wife here, Mike over at the side here. And we have board member Hawkins in the back and Techie Hicks right up front here. So thank you for their service. Being an elected official is hard work. It requires hard decisions at times, and it requires us to do what's best in light of a lot of controversies at times, and I know that everybody in the room appreciates that. So I want to thank them for being here this afternoon.
Dawson Fields would have been here. I talked to him, and his mother had a doctor's appointment. He had to take her to that. So.
The driving force behind the discussion about potentially moving 4th and 5th graders here was obviously the reduction in the 4th and 5th grade teacher here. We run a school here with one teacher per grade level, and when we're faced with losing 2 teachers and we don't have another location for those students to go with a teacher assigned, we look at that through attrition. And what I mean is whenever there's a position that leaves, we look at whether or not our student population, whether it's decreased, increased, remain the same, warrants filling those vacant positions with new recruits. And that's district-wide, that's system-wide. We have a position at Seguinsville Elementary School that we're looking at doing the same thing this year. We've held off on recruitment. Seguinsville Middle School the same way. Churchill Elementary School was going to hire an intervention position, but they're going to do so in-house. So I wanted to clear the air that Keplar is not the only school site that we look at when we look at possibly not filling vacancies through attrition. And again, the definition of attrition is when we have a retirement, a resignation, a teacher leave the service of the county. Along those lines, and I stated twice in that meeting that we had 2 retirees, and I know that Jeff printed a statement that I made in the paper where I corrected that they weren't retirees. One chose to stay home and resign, and then one took a transfer within the county school system to become a teacher leader because that person had resigned. So it was kind of a show being there. So I wanted to clear the air because I'm not out to deceive anybody. I may make misstatements. I will, but not on purpose. And I will make mistakes because I'm human. I live right up the road here. The second thing I want to lead off with is we do not, as a first reaction to needing to cut the budget or look at savings. We do not look at impactful things such as moving students as a first resort. It is a last resort. In our budget meeting, starting back the workshop that we held in February, we discussed that we would not talk about closing Kepler until this next school year and closing any school site until we get into the school year. This school year is safe from any school closures. Those of you that heard me in the board meeting on Thursday night or have played the tape, note that I clarified my comments by saying this is not a discussion to close Kepler. This is a discussion on how to save 2 teachers' salaries who are not backfilling.
Is Mrs. Trent covered by any funding? She was here. Is her position covered by state funding?
Mrs. Trent? There's a portion of BEP funding used for all of our positions within the county. Some positions are split funded, some are more split funded than others, some are more locally funded than BEP funded. It depends on the
It's
position.
not like the formula doesn't, because I know the school itself has an enrollment under, was it 250 and the principal isn't covered, is that correct? But they don't have like the same rule for teachers, like if the enrollment's under a certain number per classroom.
BEP covers a certain amount of students per teacher to be funded and to be allocated using those state funds for that purpose. Anything below that, such as the most, we saved her salary because we didn't backfill her. If we would have backfilled her, we would not have saved her salary.
She's still employed though.
But she is still employed, but she replaces the person that resigned and went out of the county. So it is a savings of one teacher position. And that, thanks for clarifying. Does everybody understand how that works? So we had a teacher leader in this position, in this case, a teacher leader that had been here roughly 26 years. Majority, a lot of years. Oh, at least the one she replaced was 12. No, the one she replaced. Yes.
I think it's for 5 years.
Okay, so we had a teacher that left after 5 years of service. So you think about what type of salary that a teacher on the 5th position in our salary schedule makes. Teacher from here requests a transfer to that position. It was granted by the supervisor of that position, and that person becomes that person. That person, the person that left, leaves the county. That is not an added position. It is a backfill or a replacement of a vacant position, so it's a net gain of 0.
What, taking our kids from here and having such a good place going, when they go to Hawkins Elementary, is there not going to have to be another teacher hired there?
No, there's not, but I'll get to that. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yes, sir.
I asked a question.
Yeah.
You say you can't backfill. Are we saying that our county can't afford to backfill 2 teachers?
I'm not saying that.
Well, then how come we can't backfill here at Kepler?
There's nothing that would prevent us from doing so, but we're looking at every position in the district when a vacancy occurs, whether or not we have to absolutely backfill that or not. Because if we don't backfill, there's a savings involved there.
Well, wait a minute. You might have stated too about transporting children. But you didn't like to do that. Did you not make that statement that you didn't like to transport children? I don't hear real good, but did you say we don't like to transport children a long way?
We don't.
Well,
I'm going to Sullivan County line when you talk about bus needs.
We would rather not transport children or put children on the bus for longer than we have to.
well, have you ever went to Sullivan County line and went all the way from there to Rogersville?
My grandson is the second one picked up, and he's on the bus an hour and 15 minutes already.
Well, what I can understand is you got, and I'm tickled death for them, but you got Clinch School. I know there's a mountain there to cross in the wintertime. We all got common sense enough to know that, but there's 100 and some students over there, and you got a state-of-the-art facility.
Yep.
With the money, and I raised a commissioner or two here, I guess, but with the money that we pay taxes here in Hawkins County, I don't know why that we can't have state-of-the-art center right here at Kepler.
They put us on the back burner for so many years, you know that as well as I do. We alumni, and they put us on the back burner for so many years and didn't give us any money to do stuff to our school, or wouldn't be in the shape it is right now. Our tax dollars has went to fund these other big schools, and I'm sure that most of them around here is going to agree with it, because there's not been anything done here at Kepler to put a Band-Aid on it for years.
Mr. Allen.
State law mandates you can only bus a child an hour and a half one way.
90 minutes, that's it.
Ran from the remote clinch over to Hawkins Elementary, whatever on the Cherokee High School, it exceeded that amount of time. That's why I supported Clinch getting a new school.
Well, and we're mandated, as Mr. Elvis has said, not only the time frame that they would spend on the bus if we had the bus from the Clinch Valley over, we're also mandated by a number of miles over a period of span for the county to transport kids as well. So we've got a couple of issues there, and that's why that permanent location was established. And again, that was done so years ago in accordance with the laws.
Well, and this is opinion, but my opinion is, there's not a one on the school board on the BOE, if they had to put a grandchild or a child on that bus on the other end of the county at Beach Creek, would want their child to get on that bus to go all the way to Rogers.
I agree.
That's opinion. But
Well, let me get back to, and I appreciate the opinions. That's why we action on Thursday, but we haven't enacted anything. The reason we needed to take action, and first of all, let me go back to that. This is a classes, multiple class collapse situation, and it is the prerogative or the ability of the school system to do so without board approval to collapse a class. We chose to take it to the board so that it became public record and so that I could get feeling from them one way or the other on how best to save money. And it's a money savings venture. It's a money savings move. And I don't like talking about money when we're talking about uprooting and moving students. That's why I wanted to start by saying this is a last resort.
So we're back to saving money again instead of what's best for kids?
No, don't twist my words, please.
Well, you just said.
Please don't interrupt. What I'm saying is that when we have to consider what's best for the school system, the entire school system budget, we have to make tough decisions at times. And I wanted to put the information in front of the board that we had an opportunity to save 2 positions due to low enrollment and where the students are going to be going in a couple of years when they transition to middle school, and have that discussion because of the timeline that we're looking at prior to the start of the school year. That is the decision-making process. She had her hand up.
My question is, I guess, and my problem with the whole thing is, we have fought for this school. Prior to you coming, and I understand that, but Bob Larkin right back there, we've got county commissioners that was here when we had our last meeting. The last word Bob Larkin told us was, we will have a community meeting before we ever have anything go before the board
Any
again.
other discussion?
And he lied to us, and we don't respect that.
Well, let me clarify, and I will take that. As the new director, the board did not know that I was going to be addressing that. Literally looking at every single site leading up to that July 11th meeting, we identified positions that we would not be potentially.
But when he promised over a year ago that in a month or so we'll have a community meeting, he lied to us. It's been a year.
Well,
We should have had this community meeting.
Why was
Should
it
have
waited
waited.
before you brought it up to the BOE?
what's that?
Why wasn't this meeting before you brought it up to the BOE and I?
I didn't understand the question.
Why was this meeting right here we're having right now? Why was it not put
Well,
in
if you
front
look-
of the BOE meeting that you brought that
If
up?
you look at the timeline between when we have to submit our budget and and we have feedback from the commission, we have to redo our budget, take it back, take a second draft back to our board. I wanted the budget approved before we looked at what we needed to potentially cut going into this year.
Was Kepler on that agenda?
Kepler on this last agenda?
When you brought it up, why was it not on the agenda for everybody to see online?
Because prior to, we have to post that agenda a week prior to.
Right.
And the night before we looked at, we were looking at what schools we were gonna cut, potentially not backfill those positions. It was literally decided by me that I would engage in that conversation at the.
But I thought it was always supposed to be on the agenda to let everybody know what was gonna be talked about.
Here's the thing. I will do a better job of making sure that I am more transparent with exactly what's on the agenda, so that if it affects you, you will be there you have the opportunity.
I'm usually at all the commissioners meetings and the Board of Education meetings. Techie Hickston, Teggy, Mike Correll, anybody that's here, they know I'm usually there. My daughter's been sick or I'd have been there one of them. I drove from Knoxville today to be right here.
I understand, yes, sir.
So you're wanting to save money. I understand that. I work for a big company, loading water. Would it not be cheaper for the county to do the Hawkins elementary teachers go over here? They pay for that gas out of their pocket instead of the county paying for a bus to go over there.
Again,
Over there, over here.
we won't at this point, but there's a potential and they have the classrooms available. If we had to add over here, there's no classrooms available. And there's all kinds of variables that we have to consider, but we did look at that option.
I don't know, we already have 14 kids here.
We already do, but if we had to go above and beyond that for any reason, overflow from Hawkins, for example, any of those scenarios take place, the room where we have, the school that we have room is Hawkins Elementary at this particular point. Hawkins Elementary is a reward school. We've got the principal standing in the back. It is a reward school. One of the things we look at is how, if we're going to have to impact students, how is that going to impact them positively on the educational side? It is a reward school. It is just down the street from where they would have to be attending if they go into the school system's middle school
What about the
program.
scores between ours and theirs?
They're a reward school. They're showing more growth.
They might show more growth, but you see what kids learn here and what they learn over there. Now, I tell you, one-on-one right here,
I am not saying that this school is not doing an
we
excellent
have a good report card.
I know you do.
Let me ask this, has the question ever been raised at any meeting? I know you're just coming into this, but has anybody ever asked the question why enrollment at Kepler has been on the decline for a decade? I can tell you of several families that are putting in for their children to go out of zone simply because the Board of Education has bullied this school for a decade. Say Techie Hicks, they have bullied and talked about closing this school for years, and parents do not want to send their kids here because they're scared to death the Board of Education will close this school down, and then they'll have to do exactly what I'm having to do. And that's trying to explain to my 4th grader why that he can't go to his school 3 weeks from now. He's going to have to go to a new school.
Amen.
And that in itself, that timeline in and of itself, that we're having this discussion 3 weeks before school starts, that is not just wrong, it's immoral to do that to these kids. It's completely wrong. And if you don't agree, I understand. I completely understand. I get it. It's about dollars, and this is a problem that's way bigger than the school board. It goes on past that in the fact that we are paying bukus of dollars in this county for taxes, a lot more than anybody else in the surrounding counties. And the fact is we're having to do that because our commissioners are not pushing for any industry, so there's no jobs here. And so people are not coming to live here, so our enrollment naturally goes down.
Let me ask you.
It's county-wide, but it's gone down, right?
Yes.
Right.
And I know that's bigger than you. I know that's hard.
I do want to ask a clarifying question. So is it your feeling that the news or the potential news that this school could have closed starting back in 2015 and moving onward, you think that that's had a dramatic negative effect on the enrollment for the school?
Absolutely.
Because
I have family members that have told me I will take my kids personally to another school because Kepler will never make it.
Yep.
And that upsets me just simply because there is not another school in this county that educates better than this one.
You got that right,
And the
brother.
fact is I know that we're trying to save dollars because we're trying to get iPads in everybody's hands and we're trying to keep up with technology. I'm telling you though, my children are getting a better education at Kepler than they will if they're being bused to a school where there's 35 kids in every single class.
And didn't you come
where
from
the
Kingsport?
Yeah, no, I come from Greene County.
Greene County, yeah.
And in Greene County, my child who went through elementary school in the 3rd grade, when he was in Greene County, he doesn't even, I had to sit down and teach him his multiplication tables. My child that went here last year, his teacher standing right back there, and honey, let me tell you, she made for sure that when he left, he knew every one of them. That's more important to me than making sure every child has an iPad.
There's nothing that you just said that I don't disagree with. However, I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
You would attribute, as a parent, you would attribute the decline in enrollment, at least partially so, to the news that, or the threat or the potential closing of the school.
Yes.
So in your mind, parents whether they're entering into kindergarten or a current student moving up,
It's not his mind, he knows for family members.
thought twice about continuing their kids into school and made the choice to pull because they were afraid it was going to close.
Yeah, well, this is not a new thing. These things has been for years.
Exactly. I've been here, we've been standing where she's at right there.
When they shut the other schools down, the enrichment center and all that years ago, Kepler was talked about selling.
Well, you know, they talked about McFeeder's Bend, we were both on the chopping block. Why is McFeeder's Bend not in the ploy now? I mean, why is it just us?
Well, their enrollment is still low, but it has leveled out according to.
Because they got Head Start, look at that Head Start here and make it go up, I mean, what's?
Head Start does help. You're absolutely
Exactly,
right.
that's how come McFeeder's Bend is not on the chopping block like we are. They took our Head Start away.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to say what he says has merit because I've got 2 children that are going to start here this year, and I've had other children come here. And I love this school. This is a wonderful school. And I like the community feel to it. I like the fact that they take time with the kids, they search out grants. I mean, if they don't have it, they will get it for you.
Yeah, the grants,
And
our
they work
teachers
with you
here
all
work
the
hard for
time.
that.
But one thing that my husband and I sat down and talked about, our children were at another school and they could continue to go there. It's completely fine for us to transport them there. And we talked about the fact of whether Kepler would make it or not. And we made the decision to bring our kids back here because not taking anything away from the other school, but this is our community and we want our kids to have that feel and we want them to be able to go through the grades that are here, all the way through 5th grade, and then go on because we felt that they would have a good solid base because of the very fact that the numbers in the class are smaller, and that gives the teacher more time for each child. And you know all that. I mean, you wouldn't obviously be where you're at if you didn't know those things. And I know that you're looking for answers and ideals about what you can do, but you know, I think if everybody kind of keep a cool head about it, and I know it's hard when you get your emotions engaged, but I think if we try real hard, we might just come up with a solution instead of fighting against each other, because if we don't work together, this school will go down the drain. And I don't want to see that.
No, and we may not, at the end of this whole thing, fast forward a couple of years, whatever the case is, there's going to be things that I disagree with Mr. Hicks on. There's going to be different things that I disagree with Bob Larkins on. There's going to be things I disagree with some parents on. But one of the things that I was hired to do is to look at the academic success and the fiscal solvency and stability of the school district. And some of those decisions contained in either one of those venues may or may not be popular with everybody in the room or in the county system. I'm not using that in this particular case as an argument for proceeding forward blindly. The reason we're all here is because we're here, because I care about listening to parents, the input, the community members' inputs, and I know you're not all parents here. But we appreciate that. We want community input before we make decisions. The fact of the matter is the other night, because of the timeline, I felt like we needed to at least get something on the table to start the conversation because the timeline is short. 3 weeks is ridiculous. 3 weeks is a tough timeline to even start talking about this.
It's crazy.
But we didn't know about those teacher moves until late June, and then the budget started to hit, and we didn't really know where we stood with that until we got word back from the commission, who we've worked really closely with. I want to talk about one little thing, and then I'll take some more questions, and I'll take them in order, so don't forget. We have worked extremely closely with our commission. This is not a result. I don't want anybody to leave here like they did the other night at the board meeting and feel like I'm blaming the commission for anything that we were having to cut in the county. We were already looking at cuts and ways to be more fiscally solvent way before the county decided to take those 2 pennies. They need those. They have the county outlook. We have the school outlook. We have to do what we have to do with the money we have. And so I echo your sentiments. When we say we need to work together, we need to be communicative, we don't need to let emotion dictate, we need to have cooler heads prevail, and we need to work together to solve some of these issues. I think we need to think outside the box. You guys know that one of the things we started this year is the virtual academy. That allows and keeps some students from spending that amount of time on the bus if they have parent support at home. And not everybody can do that. It's not for everybody.
No, and the internet's no way beyond it, unless you got any budget money for
It
it.
is not for everybody, nor can everybody logistically do it, as Patty just mentioned. It may not work in some areas, but for others it may, and we may gain some of those homeschool parents back that we lost a couple hundred students worth. We get funded roughly $7,800 per student. So this is the business side of schools that no one wants to talk about, right? But I have to look at it.
Right.
$7,800 per student per year is the bulk of our funding that comes into the school district that we have to use for teacher salary, for maintenance, for facilities, for computers, everything else.
Isn't our school though most of the state budget?
Every elementary is Title I, but because this school's ratio falls outside the BEP formula, it's largely locally funded.
It's what?
Locally funded.
So we're gonna have the numbers, the county's gonna have to fund it, right?
Correct.
I want to say, I appreciate you being here, because I know you probably ready to come this way, and I know you work for the BOE, but did you say, and I maybe didn't hear it, is Techie Hicks the only BOE member here tonight?
No.
Bob Larkin,
Bob Larkin.
the chair.
Bob Larkin, okay. I just
We
wanted,
had two, thanks for pointing that out. We had two questions.
Yes, you said that you all discussed moving the kids to hang on. Did you come up with any other solution to keep the kids here? Maybe there's a teacher out there that doesn't have a job, lined up that could be transferred here somewhere. Combine classes.
Good question, yes. And you pointed some of the things out that we've identified in the last 4 or 5 days at the central office that were possibilities at that point. We have to again look at what's fiscally responsible and what's instructionally sound. Combination classes are not the best idea when it comes to continuing to move students forward. Combination classes, meaning a split grade, so a second, third school. The discussion is right now getting input on the 4th and 5th. So.
Okay, my personal opinion, and I know a whole lot here that I've got to do. If 4th and 5th grade is shipped to Rogersville, we're screwed next year. Everybody believe that? That's what they're saying. That's what I've gotten so enraged here, and that's what everybody believes. Is this right here is just the nail in our coffin. When you take those to 4th and 5th grade, when you take them out of here next year, these young ones that just starting school, they're going to be going up there. Ain't going to be no discussion.
When I got my daughters, and it's disturbing, I have a husband, and they've been, it's the only school really that they go out. They have a total lie, they're not attending. I hope they're working, so this is, I have to do more on this. They have happened, I was able to have them. They get in the tax bill, not only lower salary. I mean, the last school superintendent, he did what, and they raised his salary. For not doing anything.
Well, let me
State law, though, you can't lower salary. We're one of the lowest paying salaries anyway. By state law, you can't lower the salary, right?
We're just above the minimum with the state.
Exactly. They don't get paid enough as it is.
I'm not saying on teacher's salary, but I mean, I know there's some.
What I took from you was to look at all other cost-saving measures before affecting it. Is that what I heard from you?
I mean, because yes, it is that's impacted, and they love it here.
Those of you that are local, that have been local, I live right up here on Long Bench, so I'm local too, since January.
Do you have children?
Yes, I do. But I want to address this, and there were 2 other people that had hands up, so I want to make sure we honor the process. Don't forget those. We used to have in Hawkins County 102 community schools. 102 community schools representing 500 square miles. We have a handful of community schools left. What's a total number? What did I get wrong? What did I get wrong? Oh, I thought you said wrong. Okay, sorry.
Wild, I said wild.
Gotcha. I thought you said wrong, and I want to make sure I get the right number. There was a news article, I think, written in 1951 that I was looking at a couple days ago about the county. We had 102 at one point, local community schools that were built because it was very hard to get kids into town, especially back then. Yep, we're down to 19 total schools for the county. And of those 19 total schools, we have just a handful that you could even consider to be a community school, Kepler being one of them. We have to, if we decide to do something with our community schools, if we decide that it's prudent and necessary, we're going to have to figure out a way to fund them. It then becomes a money issue. I knew that coming into the position, and I knew that this was going to be a tough decision if and when we started talking about affecting the population here, and if and when we start talking about potentially the option of
What's our
closing or
chances of keeping
relocating.
4th and 5th grade here? Your opinion, what's our chances of keeping 4th and 5th grade here?
I would have to talk to the board and figure that out because that's not a decision I'm going to stand.
What do you think, our techniques? You part of the board, Bob's here, let's just maybe one of them, what they got.
This is not a board meeting. We got to be.
No,
real
it's not a
careful.
board meeting, but they can ask.
We had
They
two
can do
questions.
questions.
We had two questions.
I have a couple questions. My first question is, through Hawkins to school, when are we gonna know where to send our kids? Are we telling them to go here or send them out of town? I mean,
It was very important for us to hold this first, so I apologize, and it took a couple days to set this up. It's been a week since the board meeting, but we did it as soon as possible. So again, I agree with your statement. The timeline is ridiculously tight.
And another question, you said you live up the road and you have children?
Middle school and high school age.
Okay,
And they moved here late March.
right, okay.
Hey,
Where they go to school?
This is my wife right here. We used to live in Church Hill, right? And we can pick any school we wanted to go to. And our two kids, we got two kids go to school here. I went to school here. You can ask my wife, all I've done, and Miss Patty's been knowing me all my life, Miss Judy back here. I went to school here, and this is a great school. And I feel like personally, y'all just trying to shoot us out. And everybody's trying to fight for this county except for y'all, in my opinion. And I'm giving this here. But what I'm saying is, I chose my kids to come here because I want them to have a good education. I don't care about you or anybody else in this room except for my young ones. Okay? And I ain't gonna lie to anybody. We're seriously thinking about homeschooling our kids because of y'all's decision on this situation.
There's a whole lot of things I know that you're all about.
And I mean,
Go through Gateway.
and I'm not gonna go to the county if we homeschool because y'all are not gonna get a dime.
That's exactly right.
But what I'm trying to say is, y'all are trying to ruin a good thing for this county, this community, these folks. But see, y'all talk about these grade scores. I can honestly say, these grade scores will come out here good because it's a small school. You send them over yonder, and there's gonna be too many students for the kids. Or the teachers, excuse me. That just ain't gonna work. Y'all know that. But the only thing y'all got in your minds is through what I'm saying is just dollar signs.
Amen.
Sometimes it ain't all about the dollars, it's all about these youngins, because these are the future for the world.
That's
Your
right.
kids, my kids, everybody else's, their grandkids.
And we got small children that's gonna be treated the way we was when we went to middle school and high school. We ain't nothing but a bunch of country kids that ain't wanted to them schools over there.
That's exactly
And that's
right.
how
That's the way it's
small
always
schools
been.
gonna be counted the way and treated the way we was.
These county people, I'm not saying nothing about the city folks and everything like that. But us county folks, I see, we sort of stick together a little bit better than everybody else because we family. You know what I mean? So I mean, in our eyes, my kids is their eyes. You see what I'm saying? It's vice versa.
I do, and that's the strength of a community based here. And for any stretch of the imagination, I am never going to look a parent in the eye and say this is what's best at first choice. We have to consider other options before we get to a point such as this, where we're at a critical juncture. Whether or not we like talking about the money that funds our school, there's only so much that goes around it. There's only so much that goes around, and I do not like, I'm a teacher, I'm a principal, and now I'm a director. I've seen every level of that. I'm a parent, more important. And before we start affecting kids and uprooting them, we do need to start working together and get input. But the timeline is extremely tight, and I take the blame for that. I want everybody to be clear. This is not the board's decision. None of them. And Techie will tell you if I'm lying. He will tell you, because he and I shoot straight with one another.
Oh, yeah, take your shoot straight feedback.
He will tell you that the board did not know about this discussion prior to me bringing it up, because we hadn't identified a school or schools that we were looking at targeting for those possible reductions.
Yes.
We have not acted on anything at this point.
But by law, it
doesn't
voted on it.
It doesn't matter. The action can be there, but it doesn't mean that we took any action toward seeing that.
Without letting us family members know that you were, that's wrong. That's on each and every single board member that was there, standing there.
It's on the
No. Stop.
I have a question. I came here 3 years ago from Florida. My kids, they were slow. The school has done nothing. Look at this. She cried.
I took the emotions out and they had all voted. Every last one of us held this meeting and voted without letting each one of these parents know what was going on. And then we had to hear about it on social media, which is wrong.
The communication is on you.
It's not on you. It's on him back there and him over there and him over there. You all voted on it. There was 5-1.
Yes, sir.
We're not eating. No.
Well, I heard they were overcrowded anyways, that they had
He forgot his hearing aid, I have to tell him what to do and say.
So one of the questions that just came up was, would the parents in this scenario, the current scenario on the floor, would the parents get a choice in what school their kids were to go to if you're one of the 4th or 5th graders affected? And per the motion on the table that was at the board meeting, they would have a choice. We would provide transportation to Hawkins Elementary School, but we would honor transfers to any other school within the county system. I hope that addresses that question. I don't know who was next. I'm going to go back to you because you had your hand.
We sit here and argue and I could my feelings all night, but I want to just say, tell me if I'm wrong. But the whole reason behind all this whole thing is saving money. What we can. The board's asked you to save money. And I believe I've heard you say that if you got over 100 students at a school, then the state helps fund that school. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it just that simple that you can, maybe the last director didn't see this, but is it that simple that you can take 35 students out of this school this year, and then when this is looked at next year, there's no way this school will
We're
ever have
gone.
100 students?
This happens, we're gone.
That's not, let me address the question. No, that is
That
not.
makes it easy on the BOE, looks to me like next year.
No, that's not what it's about, because here's the reason why. It's been at 97 students for over a year. We've been under the 100 student threshold for over a year and a half, going back to the spring the prior year before. Consistent enrollment during the attendance periods is what the state looks at. So this is not a ploy, I can answer that 100% honestly, it's not a ploy to then go and say, look, they're down 38 kids, and now we're gonna close it.
Well, come next year, I bet you won't make none of these people believe that. But
I
got one more question, and I'll hush. I'm going to ask you questions. I got one more.
You can ask
And this is sort of personal. You said you lived up around Honeycutt. I used to go to school here with kids around that lived in Honeycutt. Could your kids went here?
They could have, but they're in middle school and high school.
Oh, they're middle school and high school.
Are they in Rocheville Middle and Cherry?
Hey man, you're a lucky man, Douglas.
They moved here in late March, so. Question?
You're a lucky man.
Does that mean that we need to have a certain amount of money raised in order to keep the kids here funded? Is that what needs to happen? Does there need to be some sort of money raised in order for that to happen? So that our fourth and fifth graders don't have to go? Both of my nieces had complete meltdowns when they came home. And they've been going here for years. My kids found a place here. They've only been here for 2 years now. I grew up here, you know? And I love this place. I don't see it closed. So if there's something we can do in order to make enough money to make it plausible for 2 more teachers, or for 1 teacher to split, or however, I heard you say that earlier. If that's something that we need to do, then where do we go from here? If that's what we need to do,
We've
where
asked,
do we go from here?
we asked to do that years ago.
We've done it for 4 years since we've been talking about closing
We've
schools.
asked
We've
the same
offered to
question.
run fundraisers, do whatever has to be done to make the school better, and they would not let us do it.
It is
Is it a matter of letting
it's,
you letting us do it, or can we not fundraise money ourselves?
no, if a group of parents wants to fundraise, a group of parents can fundraise. Now, there are things we need to have in place to make sure that the money raised is going and being accounted for, and all of those checks and balances, but absolutely there wouldn't be any reason why we could not use that for. Well, the 2 teachers' salaries are worth $120,000 to the school system.
So in order for us to have 2 more teachers, we have to have that amount.
If you were to look at the same staffing that we had that existed the previous year. So remember we're talking about two veteran teachers, 2 teachers that were maybe possibly middle of the road salary schedule plus health and welfare benefits. One of the reasons we're able to keep teachers in the county is we have a pretty rich health and welfare package for health costs, because health costs kill families right now.
Oh yeah, I know all about that.
That's one of the reasons we're able to retain teachers at the rate we do. We still lose 12 to 15 a year to other counties due to our salary.
Yeah, because they're gonna make more money, they're gonna cross the line.
Due to the salary, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Is there a way, I didn't know about the 100 population, that if you have that over the 100 that you're funded by the state, is there a way to identify the people who take their children to other schools, and just to talk to them about the fact that if their children were here and the enrollment was higher, that this school would not close and they would not have to worry about it closing? I mean, that's new to me. So that's
So has that ever been communicated at all, as far as you know?
not that I know of.
Okay, all right.
A year before last, when I talked about closing, we had 107 kids here.
Remember, I'm getting the input tonight just as much as I am fielding questions, so I'm not going to argue with anybody. I'm just asking for clarification. Sorry. Yes. It is. $60 million.
Because of the low enrollment is why the school has to lower the funding. Where does the money come from to fund the school that's low?
You're our general fund.
And our taxes were raised last year an extra $40, so that we can pay for things like school. I remember telling my husband, if I'll pay it gladly, if my child will stay in school, it's the wheel tax.
When I wrote several months ago, it was just that. One of the 3 goals that I mentioned was to be transparent and to communicate and to be open. I take blame for any perception that we were trying to hide anything in last Thursday's meeting. It was simply to have the discussion, to get a feel for the board where they stood on this, and it should not have gone to a vote before we came here. That is completely on me, and you can ask the board, they did not know about that before. I'm still learning the process, so I appreciate your patience. You guys are becoming a lot more upset and a lot more agitated, but I appreciate your patience and for your willingness to ask the questions. I also appreciate your willingness to give me input so that we can discuss with the board what the future plan would be for not only Kepler, but again, system-wise, we're looking at filling those vacancies. But I also understand that there's a lot of
those children down there, and I have family that put on for me. I love that. There's great people down there, there's great educators down there. But I'm telling you right now, there's great educators right here. And I would put the education at Keplar up against every single elementary school in the state, not alone just the county, the state. I believe in these educators back here. How about we look at the reverse allocation and maybe empty some of them classes down there and bring them up here in order to raise the enrollment up above that threshold in order to get the funding that we need from the state in order to offset some of that cost.
If they have room for our children there, how can we not put a classroom, a fifth and fourth grade, belong to them and their teachers?
That question came up earlier.
No, right now.
It was one of the options that we looked at last time.
It does look like that, high enrollment in certain classes, that those classes could be far down, and that was in here, because that would, it would upset me, but it would be beneficial to the students also, to have the class that they leave, that they could have a smaller enrollment, and that they would, the excess would be able to get extra attention. Well, you must have. You've got to have a conversation about it. I mean, it's possible.
I think the problem is there's not the school has new areas on the classroom as part of that two-step grant, but
They used to be.
no taken. Yes, sir.
I'm a parent and I'm worried about my child. So, his question earlier, he was wondering, next week, we decide. He's wondering about the teachers, so am I. Are we going to get a chance, if we do, move our kids, to talk to the teachers, take our kids up there, show them around?
One of the things that I bet with Barry Bellman, he's standing in the back. If you want to raise your hand, that's the principal of Hawkins Elementary. If we move forward with the current action on the table, there would be a time period where you could go tour the school, meet the staff, look exactly at the classroom, and then your students.
The teacher, the exact teacher that my child is in the classroom.
We would make that happen. That's one of the things that was important.
And I'll be notified.
Yes,
I will be told.
yes, ma'am. We're gonna have to do a variety because we miss people no matter what we choose. So we'll probably phone call, send letters, post it on our website. What's that? That's why if you guys could do something for me and make sure, because no matter what the decision, we have to communicate this out. If you could make sure over the next day or two that you don't think we have the right address or phone number, make sure that you get that to the central office so that we have the correct information to get that information.
The kids that are zoned to come to school.
That question for you. We have tried to accommodate grandparents who are doing after-school care, which we try to make a lot of provisions because parents are working. So you have to be somewhat flexible. You can't just be so rigid. You can't go anywhere else because circumstances dictate many times who has to pick the child up, who has to be there when the child gets off the bus. So that's why we've had to make some provisions. But valid point. I know what you're saying, and we don't disagree. Before we conclude, my name is Bob Larkins. I'm chairman of the board. Mr. Hicks is here with me too. And I just want to say this. We have not told a lie about closing this school. You keep telling me that I have. Let me finish. Our last discussion, this has been going on since 2015. We have recognized the declining enrollment in all of our schools, including this school and there has been discussion throughout the years. When we last discussed this, we were announced in May that Mr. Starnes would be leaving. We had a budget at that time we were working on. We knew that we could not tackle an issue like this, so important and so critical. We put it on the table. We started doing the search, and Mr. Hicks has been here 7 months. We didn't despair to throw that back on him. Him here less than 7 months. We had another budget. We started on April of this year. We have submitted it. July the 1st, we were told we lost 2 more cents. 2 cents and 12 cents we lost since 2014. Right, Mr. Hicks? He corrected me last Thursday night. 2014, the school system has lost 12 cents. I understand it. I don't blame it on the commission. They did what they had to do because of declining enrollment. So we have to adapt to the money we've got to work with. We're going to look at every possible opportunity to make this work and give your kids the best education that we can. Our decisions will be based on what's in their best interest. We represent the entire county, not just one community, not Churchill, Rogersville, Mooresburg. We represent the entire county. And I'll answer your question in just a second. But let me finish, is that a lot of time has been spent by educators in the past probably 72 hours brainstorming how we can make this work with the funding that we've got. There's been some ideas out there. One was thrown out, and I did not think it was the best interest to split teachers up. It wasn't the best interest for the students to have to share a teacher, and it may be something we need to come back and visit after this meeting today. We're going to have to take this information back, let Mr. Hickson and his staff figure out what is best for us, and can we make this work for the students. I appreciate your passion. I know the school that I attended is closed today. This is not unique to Hawkins County. Let me tell you, I was in a meeting in Johnson City a month ago. Greene County told me that they lost 1,000 students and they've closed schools. Sullivan County has closed schools. It's not unique to us. Perhaps it's the birth rate. I don't know. Maybe people don't want, new millennials don't want to raise families in the rural areas. I live in a rural area and I think it's great. But that may not be the trend today, and I think we're seeing a result of that.
We don't need to worry about a trend, we need to worry about
Our numbers are down. Let me say this. We will continue to have a discussion on how we're going to make this work, and we have to look at the numbers. The numbers will dictate what we do. I mean, all the emotional passion will not get us where we need to be. We have to make a budget and make it work, and we will do that, and we'll do the best we can. The wheel tax, somebody said something about the $40. We didn't get 1 cent of that. That goes to the county. And so, you know, we would love to have it. If they want to give it to us, we'll make good use of it.
I thought some of the money from the wheel tax was to go to schools.
The original, yes, the original. Not the additional 40.
Why does it happen?
I don't know if you all know it, but our budget is made up 80 to 85% is from personnel costs.
Right.
So we don't have a lot of fluff in that budget.
Right.
We dipped into the fund balance over $3 million this year to make the budget work. So that should tell you where we're at.
Well,
we were told by the commissions to tighten our belts. And we've done that. And we've been able to save some money, but we've got to continue on that process. When you lose $200,000, it's got to come from somewhere. We don't want
always comes to us. Always.
We don't want to have a layoff. So let me just be quiet right there. And I don't know who had their hand up first. Let me start with my dearest friend.
That statement you just made earlier about Mr. Hicks and everything, he didn't comment on what you said. He got talked out. Why is that?
You'd have to ask him. I don't know.
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I wish I could answer that.
So I'm just saying.
My statement was that in 2014 we lost.
Listen, okay. This gentleman just got walked out. Y'all work side by side together.
We try to. We do our very best.
By my eyes, he didn't like your statement.
Exactly.
So does that mean you tell me a vote place lie like these people right here?
Why don't you ask him?
I'm asking you.
No, I didn't. No. You can check the record.
You said you didn't lie. I want you to look me straight in my eyes, and I want you to tell me that last year when we done this walk through Keplar School, out of your mouth, you didn't say, I promise before there's another decision made about this school, we will have a meeting with the public of this community, and we will discuss these problems. Did you say that, or did you not?
The quote was that before we close this school, there would be more community meetings, correct?
We would have one within 1 to 2 months. You was going to make sure we had a meeting after our walk. I understand Steve's gone, but you made the promise, Bob. You're still here. Steve's gone. You was left with the ball. You let it bounce.
Tonight's meeting is about 4th to 5th grade. It's not about closure. But
you said you didn't lie. But you're walking all the way around my question. You told us we'd have a meeting. You lied to us. We lost respect of you. We don't care about you. We're done.
Can I ask a question, please?
I can answer.
Yeah. So you guys have already voted to move these kids.
We
So
did.
if you have another decision or another option, how are you gonna enact that when you already have a vote,
We would have to
motion?
call a special call meeting to do that and come back and revisit that idea. It wasn't available to us Thursday night. And I'm not sure it's something that you all would even buy into.
But by the time, okay, so you're supposed to make a decision on the options by the beginning of next week. So then you're gonna call a special meeting somewhere between, I
Yeah,
mean,
you can see the timeline we've been under. We were told July 1st, we lost 2 cents, $200,000. We had a board meeting July the 11th, school starts August the 5th. You see what we're under.
right, but what I'm asking you is if you guys are gonna come up with an option at the beginning of the week, you're gonna have to have a meeting and you're gonna put it out again.
Yes, good question. We're gonna do our best to make that work with giving proper media notice and you all notice to get that done.
Because we need to attend that
Yeah,
special
you need to
meeting.
be there. We need to hear from you. But you see where what we're running. If we're gonna make any changes at all, we need to move in one direction or the other.
I'll ask a question that a parent asked me,
Sure.
who's not here tonight. You're using $3.1 million in savings to balance this budget. Could you have used $3.3 million in savings and kept the teachers in their positions here and maintain the budget that way?
Yes, the budget had been submitted already. We didn't realize until just most recently that we were under this situation of
I know, but could you have, instead of moving the
Looking at
two
it now?
students, increase the amount of money that you're drawing from savings to balance the budget?
Yes, we could.
But you,
The problem.
is that an option still?
The problem with attaching any kind of salaries to that savings is that that's going to run out very, very quickly. So we don't attach salaries to temporary funds, right?
That's a reoccurring cost.
Yeah.
Earlier, we're going to try to do Monday or Tuesday.
Are you gonna have a couple meeting for this?
If we take an additional action or a revision to the action on the table, we would have to hold board meeting.
So, my question is, we're having a board meeting at first of the week, and we're deciding what our kids gonna do, right?
I'm not saying that, I'm saying if we change the action rather than what's on the table, we would have to have another.
So right now, who's the fifth grade, we're gonna shoot that, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it's not changing the line.
Not changing the line is the fourth of fifth grade. If that changes, of course, back.
Tactics gonna have on them, instead of, oh my God, they are so many, and people in this room can vouch for this. There are so many grandparents out here that's raising these kids that this will hear. That is going to be such a burden on them to get them all over that. Everybody in school right now gets free lunches and free breakfast. They get over there, that's not gonna happen. Do you know what a burden it's gonna be? Well, forget that part. That's what I'm saying, Mom, I'm talking to him. He was having a talk here, so he can lay back.
It's deteriorating.
I want to know, flat out, it's not like this. No, I want to know flat out. That Monday, Tuesday, whatever, you have this meeting. I want to know what you're going to be talking about.
We have to call a meeting, a board meeting.
Okay, so we don't know what we're going to do. So more or less, everybody, our kids are got time over more or less. Okay, convince me otherwise. Convince me otherwise now. I do, I have a memo. I'm telling you, I told everybody from day one, and now my husband bought his big old tractor, and he's giving, and everybody in here with me, they'll tell you. We said we'd line this road up, this school up, backhoes and tractors and everything else. I'm gonna be standing right there with the doors, and train on it. You have to take me to jail. Now, I saw several boards when we were right there with you. So you just do it, and you see what happens. You and all the rest of them, lost out, you do that. Everyone that is not election in, you're getting voted out. You just try to see, because we'll just shut people around this county up here every day, every day. Wait, what word? I'm asking.
split the grades up. Fourth grade teacher, fourth grade teacher, and I didn't like that. One grade teacher, stayed right there and teach them. First.
Is there any other? Is there any other questions before we dismiss? I know everybody's hot. Is there anything else that we have?
Son going into third. So he has kids because of all his other kids went here. This is the only school they never know. That guy.
Long way, wasn't it worth it? Did you get that?